Like I told you yesterday, some of you complained that at the point you tried using your left hand to write, it was difficult. In fact, the outcome was messy. You were not proud of what you wrote. Then again, I said, but if you decide that you want to begin writing with your left hand, all you need to do is to do it every single day. It could be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25, 30 minutes every single day. And before you know it, in the next 5 months, you can truly write with your left hand. And that is what consistency can do. That is the power of consistency. And so today, we're diving quickly. So on the screen, we have a write-up saying good grades are not built by small, sorry, good grades are built by small daily actions. So good grades are built by small daily actions, not last minute efforts. You know, many times students would want to prefer, reading a day to exams. Many times you see them during the exams. You go to the hall at night, you see everywhere is filled with people. But observation has shown that more than 60% of those in such hall end up sleeping or playing or chatting or even discussing with friends. But if you start reading early, for instance, during exams, I don't bother myself with reading. During exams, I sleep, wake up, rest. I just do things that will distract me from, being so serious. That's what I do because I take out my time to make sure I study and I read and I prepare before exams. So 2 weeks to exams, maybe I'm revising and then a week to exams, I stop reading. That's how, the brain is a system. So you have to understand how the brain works. When you read one thing over time, that's the way I read. Let me share this secret with you. For every title or for every topic I am taught in class, I make out questions around it and I try to answer those questions. So whether I will like it or yes, any question that will come out during the exam from that particular topic or title must be related to the already questions I formulated. So what I do is when I want to read, after reading, I write what I would have written if that question was a real life exam. So what I do is I begin to read that same thing over time. I don't bother reading the other textbook or what the lecturer taught in class again. Because if you get used to a thing, it is difficult for you to forget it, like ABCD. So before exams, that content is part of me. So I don't need to think too much. I don't need to analyze too much to remember that question if it comes out during the exam. So it is easier for me to just approach it and answer it. And what that does for me is it helps me play with power words. You can ask me to define research. I can start by saying the word research is made up of two different syllables. Re, which means to do again, and search, which means to find. However, this term has been defined differently by different schools of thought as well as scholars. But the most interesting thing about the various definitions is that it centers on the search for new knowledge. I've not defined research. But you cannot be a scorer and see the way I write and film. It's not possible. It's not possible. So I do a whole lot with power words. And one thing that helps me so much is I look out for synonyms when I'm writing. So I can repeat the same thing, but in different formats, using different language, or call it synonyms. So there are some little secrets that if you understand, you will not be afraid. You will not struggle to succeed. You won't. So there are some habits you must take very note of because they are very important. You must tell yourself the small daily actions I'll be carrying out henceforth. I will read every day. I will reduce distraction. What is that thing that is affecting your concentration? So tell yourself these 4 things. I'm going to reduce distractions. I'm going to revise consistently. Every single day, I will go back to revising my notes. So what I do is when I go back to that note I have written over time, it becomes part of me without struggle. And then take better notes. One of the topic we take time to dissect in speed reading mastery course and also in our academic boot camps is note taking. Good note taking. Students don't take notes in class. You see, when you are listening to the lecturer, you see those things you jot down. Many times it is usually difficult for you to forget them because when you look at them, you cannot remember what the lecturer said in class. So note taking is very important. So taking better notes is one of the things you must tell yourself I will do henceforth. So note taking is one of the things we take our time to deal with. We have a particular title or topic, a particular model on just note taking. That is how to take notes. There are things you consider when you are taking notes. You don't just write because everybody is writing. And sometimes you write, and by the time you are done writing, you just know that all these things I wrote, they don't make sense. That is how to take notes in class. A note that will always make sense. And I know how to do that very well. If you read my notes, oh my God. I know how people used to borrow my notes. Till today, people call me if they're probably taking a particular course and maybe someone told them that Austin took that course, they will call me to request for my notes. I still have my notes, very detailed. I still have them. I have my PGDL notes. I did PGDL in 2019, 20 during the COVID. I still have my notes. My master's notes are still there. The reason I discarded my undergraduate notes was because since I made a switch, so for me, it wasn't so important. I had to just discard them for space. So note taking is very important. So you need a complete system if you must succeed academically. On the screen, you're seeing a picture. Then at the end of the system, all right, you're seeing the trophy, you're seeing the prize. But you can be around the system. It's possible to be around the system and yet you are doing nothing. You can see some persons on the ground, but they are doing nothing. They are not part of this. They have no system. And you cannot jump from the first step to the last step. It's not possible. You will definitely fall back to the first system if you try to do that. So you need a complete system. It's very important because excellence is a system. Excellence does not sprout from nothing. It sprouts from something. It grows from something. And that's simply system. If you don't have a correct system, you always fall back. No matter how you try to push. One thing a system does is that it will always help push you back. It will always bring you back. That is a system. Even when no one is watching, a system will always drag you back. It will always push you back. So that's what a system does for us. So excellence is systemic. You find excellence around a working system. You don't find excellence around motivation. Of course, I always say it. Research has shown that at the end of 24 hours, motivation reduces. Then at the end of 72 hours, it disappears completely. And that's why some of you would say, after this class, I will read for 24 hours. I will read for 3 hours. I'll begin to take good notes. But after 3 days, you fall back to your normal life. You know why? You do not belong to a community that checkmates your actions. You need a one-on-one accountability system, and that's one of the things I do for students. It's very important. These were some of my struggles back then in school. I hadn't tell anybody. Sometimes I even go to ask some persons questions that they will not answer me. I don't know why. So I had to struggle. I had to struggle with all of me to make sure I learned that system, and it's working for me today. It's working. So if it is working for me, it can work for you because I have taught several persons and it's working for them. One thing about me is I don't hide secrets. I share secrets. The only thing I cannot share with you till tomorrow is something I do not know. That's the only thing I cannot share with you. But if I know it, I will share it, except I do not know it. And sometimes if you ask me and I do not know it, I will tell you, wait, I'll come back. I'll go and make my findings. I'll research and then I'll come up with something. That's how I work. So excellence is a system. If you want to build a house like you see on the screen, is it possible to build a house with cement alone? It's not possible. A house, to build a complete house, a house that will stand the test of time, you need blocks, you need iron, roofing, doors, windows, and many other things. That is how academics works. Academic excellence is the same as a building. You cannot build alone. You need a system. You need more than hard work if you want to succeed. In fact, you need more than the right system. At the beginning, you can't just depend on your own self. If not, you will fall again. Now look at what footballers do. Before every match, you see footballers, as strong as they are, as analysis, because they want to make sure that they have a system that works. So what do? They will place a football field on the board, and then they will begin to analyze every single action they must carry out. As important as Messi to his team, as important as C. Ronaldo is to his team, he works based on system. This system brings them together. It improves synergy. It improves accountability, which in turn brings about success. So a complete system is very important. So when we come together as a community, it becomes easier for you. It becomes easier for the next person. But you cannot do that all by yourself from the beginning. You must do it with a group over time. Then you can now go on alone. You can see some of them are seated. They are just analyzing what it will look like. So by the time they go to the pitch, you see them This other person is standing close to the keeper. The other person is playing forward. This person is playing left side. If this one is playing the right side, this one is at the middle. It's a system. They have it in their head. They are not thinking about it. It's already part of them because they took time to analyze the system as a group. So if you think you want to stand alone, I tell you, in no time you're going to fall again. Success does not just emerge from anywhere. Like I said yesterday, to get tall, you don't need to jump up. And I used this language. To grow, you must grow, or you must grow to grow. Start from standing, making a step, 2 steps, and before you know, you can walk. And before you know it, you can run. And before you know it, you're flying. So success success will always come from having the right mindset, studying the right way, reading with understanding, remembering what you've learned. Some of you, if I ask you now, what have you been learning all the while? You may not be able to state them explicitly. Managing your time wisely, preparing well before every single exam. Like I told you, I prepare for every single exam as though it is the last. Of course, it is the last. Don't I don't have the time to come back for any exam. Staying consistent, building confidence. These are things you must take note of. When all of these things together, remember a system. All the footballers, the goalkeeper, the number one, the number two, number three, and everybody they must work together. So when these things begin to work together, you see that your results will begin to change. You cannot put all of these things together and not have a changed result. It's not possible. So if you want your results to change, we must come together and make this thing work. I'd like to have some questions on the screen. I need somebody to answer these questions. It could be any of them. What is the biggest lesson you have learned so far? What is one habit you will replace? What is one habit you will start? And what result do you want to achieve in the next school term or during the next semester? Let's have someone speak. What is the biggest lesson and speak to us? Go ahead. Who is speaking?
Okay. Good evening. It's me, Wisdom. Good evening.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Wisdom.
Yeah. I've just come to learn something from yesterday to today that if you want to achieve something big, something outstanding, you don't just need to wait and do the big part of the work, maybe some few days or some few minutes to the event. Just start early, small daily actions in and out, small daily actions in and out. At the end of the day, you achieve what you want to achieve instead of waiting maybe till when time is closer to the event. That's when you start practicing. No, just take small actions day in, day out, small actions day in, day out, and you see yourself achieving your dreams and your goals in the long run. That is it.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Very explicit. Simple, but very explicit. That's a good one. So the complete system is what you have on your screen. For the past few days, I've been showing you the problems. We have discussed why many students struggle for the past few days. We have discovered that academic success is a skill. And today, we have seen that success comes from following a complete system. Success does not appear from nowhere. It will only emerge when you follow a reasonable and a complete system. That is how success works. That is how success works. And so I want to very quickly introduce us to a system. First of all, this is going to be our next webinar. Of course, it's free. The one-time webinar to be on TikTok Live. It is called the AI Advantage. It is for parents, it is for teachers, it is for students. It is for everybody. Later on, I'll drop it on the platform. It's holding next week, Wednesday. So let's get set for it. Let's prepare for it. No dull moment. We are changing every single day. Something different is emerging from our inside. And then I'd like to introduce us to a complete system. This is our academic bootcamp for 2026. If you learn all of this for free, you can imagine what you're going to learn if you take part in the real bootcamp. In this bootcamp, we're going to be having weekly live coaching sessions. We're going to be having one-on-one accountability system. We're going to have daily wise challenge, speed reading practice sessions. We're going to have student success clinic. This is where I would dissect certain issues with you one-on-one. We look at certain issues, we look at how it started, and then we look at how you can actually solve that particular issue without stress. So these are some of the things we'll be doing in that training. Of course, we also have habit tracking sessions. We're going to have templates for tracking you, for tracking your attitude over time. We have a template. You're going to look at the template. You're going to fill the templates, and then you know whether you're doing well or not. You're going to assess yourself with those templates. And then, of course, there's going to be a certificate of completion, and then the duration will be 4 weeks. It's a boot camp that will run for 1 month. We did it last year. It was perfect. And this year, we're going to do it again. And trust me, the truth is, all we have done for these 4 days, we've only touched or scratched the surface. There wasn't enough time to teach everything in detail. And that is why the boot camp is very important. It is very, very essential. In that boot camp, we're going to talk about AI, how we can use AI to transform our system, our learning style, and what have you. We're going to look at effective study habits. We're going to look at how to read faster and understand better, how to improve memory, how to overcome procrastination and distraction, how to prepare for examination. We're going to look at how to stay motivated. We're going to look at how to build habits that lead to excellent results. This is not just an information. It's a practical system that if you apply throughout your academic journey, you will see great change. I tell you the truth for free. Imagine going through this system. It gives you a picture of what your academic life will be by this time next year. It tells you what your life in general would be by this time next year. So if you do not take part in this boot camp, you can also imagine what it will look like by this time next year. So the decision is yours to make if you're ready to stop guessing and start learning with a clear plan. I would always advise that you take part in this boot camp. Your future is not changed by what you know. It should not be changed by what you consistently do. Sorry, it will be changed by what you consistently do. So don't just leave this webinar inspired and happy. Don't just leave the webinar inspired and happy. No. Leave it transformed. Leave it transformed. Because at the end of the day, I want to see you change. I want to see you become a better person. I want to see your life transforming. I want to see you become a changed person. I want to see you become a better person. And so that's why, for those who are here, I always advise that you do everything within your reach to take part in this boot camp. All right. So for those who want to ask, how much is the boot camp? What do I need to invest in order to take part in this boot camp? Here is the simple mathematics. The value you're going to get is not close to the token or the investment you're making. After I'm going to drop the details, the bonus you're going to get by the time you take part in this webinar, sorry, in this bootcamp. We're going to be giving you academic habit trackers, personal goal setting workbook, a workbook that will help you track, your goals that you can use to set your goals, AI prompting guide, an automated timetable that you can use, whether you are in primary school, in secondary school, or at the tertiary level. We're going to give you what we call the productivity and time management toolkit. That time management toolkit can help you analyze how you manage your time at the end of every single day. It can help you, what did I do today? How many minutes or hours did I spend doing it? And where did I waste my time today? It will help you answer all of these questions. So what you are embarking on is a journey you do not want to miss. The last time we did it, those who missed begged for even the replay. And they paid for it, of course. It's not going to be fun because in that training, I'm going to be exposing certain secrets. Secrets that you will never hear anywhere. It's open for everybody, like I said. Primary school, secondary school, university, parents, teachers. The training is open for everybody. There, I'm going to be dishing out the complete system that you need. You're going to have a joint accountability system. You're going to participate in a guided habit tracking sections. So a whole lot will be happening. A whole lot will be happening. It's going to be a practical boot camp. Of course, it is designed, to help you learn better, think better, stay focused, and of course, use AI wisely to help you build systems needed to succeed in school, at work, and in life. The investment for this boot camp is 9,900 naira, but there's going to be a special offer for the first three persons. First three students, parents, as well as teachers. They will pay 7,900 naira only. And as soon as the very first three persons take that slot, the investment automatically returns to 9,900 naira. So after now, I'll be dropping the details on the platform for those who are interested. And I'm pretty sure that you're interested because it is one webinar, sorry, it is one bootcamp you do not want to miss. And also, let's also get set for this one. It's going to be an AI advantage class for parents, for teachers, and for students. It will be on TikTok Live. So let's get set for it. I'm going to drop the full details on the platform, and then I hope you will respond positively. At this point in time, let's take few questions and then we call it a night. Why you expect more details from the platform? Do we have any question? Any question? Yes, let's go ahead. Let's ask our questions. You have a question. It is not time to ask your question.